The scent of burnt toast and baby formula hung in the air as Mateo blinked awake, one hand automatically reaching for the empty space beside him. Sunlight streamed through the cracked blinds of his tiny apartment on Proxima Colony B, a dusty, overlooked human settlement clinging to the edge of known space. His 3-year-old daughter, Lily, was already awake, babbling happily in her crib down the hall. But something was off. He sat up slowly, heart pounding. Curled on the far side of his bed, draped in his favorite faded blue shirt like a makeshift robe, was a being straight out of myth. She was tall, even seated, easily 7 feet, with obsidian scales shimmering like polished onyx, edged in crimson. 2 graceful horns swept back from her temples, and her golden eyes, slit-pupiled and ancient, fixed on him with unnerving calm. Wisps of smoke curled from her nostrils as she exhaled. A dragon. Mateo froze, half terrified, half convinced he'd finally cracked from sleep deprivation and grief. His wife, Aisha, had died during the Xylos plague 2 years ago. Since then, it had just been him, Lily, and the endless struggle to keep their tiny corner of humanity alive. "You're in my shirt," he managed, voice hoarse. The dragon inclined her head. "It smelled of warmth and sorrow. I apologize for the intrusion, Mateo Hassan. My name is Vorina, first emissary of the Draconic Concord." He stared. She knew his name? Before he could react, Lily's door creaked open. The toddler waddled in, clutching a stuffed star whale, her eyes wide but not with fear. "Big Lizzie!" she squealed, pointing. Vorina's stern expression softened. She lowered herself onto the floor with impossible grace, bringing her head level with the child. "Little one," she rumbled, her voice like stone sliding over velvet. "You are radiant." Mateo instinctively stepped between them. "Stay back." But Lily toddled forward and patted Vorina's snout. The dragon closed her eyes, a deep, resonant hum vibrating through the room, a sound of pure contentment. "She sees no threat in me," Vorina said softly, opening her eyes. "Perhaps humanity's young remember what the old forget." Mateo's guard didn't drop. "Why are you here? The Concord hasn't acknowledged human colonies in 50 cycles. You declared us biologically unstable after the Mars uprising." Vorina rose, her wings, folded tightly against the low ceiling, twitching. "We were wrong." The words hung in the air, heavy as neutron stars. Mateo blinked. "What?" "The Galactic Tribunal is preparing to vote on your species' extinction," she said, her tone grave. "The Cathar swarm has petitioned for your immediate eradication, citing your history of war, ecological collapse, and irrationality. Many agree. Even among the conquered, you are seen as volatile." Mateo's blood ran cold. "Extinction?" "But I witnessed something on the surveillance feeds," Vorina continued, stepping closer. 3 nights ago, during the atmospheric surge, this colony's power grid failed. You carried your daughter through sub-zero winds to the medical pod, shielding her with your own body. You gave your last thermal blanket to an elderly neighbor. And when the generator sparked, risking explosion, you didn't flee. You stayed to reroute the fuses, knowing it might kill you. She paused, her golden eyes burning into his. "You acted without reward, without glory, without even hope of survival, only love." Mateo swallowed hard. "That's just what you do." "That," Vorina said, voice trembling with something like awe, "is precisely what no other species understands. We, the Draconic Conquered, have lived 10,000 cycles. We've mastered fusion, folded space, tamed black holes, but we have never seen a being risk annihilation for another with no genetic link, no strategic gain, only because it was right." She bowed deeply, her horns nearly brushing the floor. "I came not as a diplomat. I came as a student, to learn from you." Mateo stood speechless. Lily, oblivious, tugged at Vorina's shirt, his shirt, and babbled, "Up?" With infinite care, the dragon lifted the child onto her forearm, cradling her like a treasure. Lily giggled, patting Vorina's scale. "The tribunal meets in 3 cycles," Vorina said, her voice now steel-wrapped in silk. "I will speak for you. Not with logic, not with power, but with this." She nodded toward Lily, now playing with one of her horns. "I will show them that humanity's so-called irrationality is your greatest strength, the will to nurture even in ruin, to protect even when doomed." Matteo felt tears prickle his eyes. "They'll never believe you." "They already do," she said. "I transmitted your actions across the Concord last night. 23 elder clans have already withdrawn support for the extinction motion. The Cathar are furious." A flicker of smoke curled from her lips. Laughter. "They call you the chaotic variable." She turned to leave, then paused. "May I return to learn more?" Matteo looked at his daughter, nestled safely against a creature once deemed a myth, and nodded. "Just bring your own shirt next time." Vorina's eyes crinkled, a dragon's smile. "I rather like this one." As she stepped out into the dusty colony dawn, wings unfolding like storm clouds, the entire human settlement watched in stunned silence. And for the first time in decades, Matteo felt something he'd almost forgotten: hope. Not because they'd won, but because someone finally saw them, not as flaws to erase, but as light worth defending.